What's happening, Lightsaber Radio family? My far, far away fellas and madams and just all the wonderful Star Wars people that we got in this wonderful franchise. Welcome to the show. We have a lot to talk about today, and it's going to be a very intense episode because there is some things.
There's lots to talk about.
There's a whole lot to talk about. Like, okay, I got 24 Easter eggs that I found, and there's probably more. So it's going to be amazing. So let's drop that intro and let's get right into it.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Last we will reveal ourselves.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You are now if you only knew the power of gods.
Here it comes.
Let's go.
You are now
Hello there.
Okay, so we got to start off with Baylan. We just got to.
Baylan, oh, dude.
I think this dude needs his own fucking, like, series.
He needs his own series. Well, it's crazy because, like, I think, like, obviously the focus that they were trying to do, I think Disney was trying to have was more on, like, Sabine and Ahsoka. But Baylan, to me, is, like, stealing the show. I fucking love Baylan.
Dude, it's crazy because we don't have Ray Stevens no more. So, I mean, I don't think they can recast fucking Baylan and be all right. But,
yeah,
dude, this dude is so intriguing. Like, we know what's going to happen because Disney's cool. Dave Filoni is the shit. They're not going to kill Baylan off. Baylan's end up going to be left on the planet. That's what's going to happen. Y'all, that's my prediction. That's what I believe is going to happen. Baylan is going to stay on the planet because he's looking for whatever it is he's looking for. And that's how they're going to do. They're not going to kill Ray Stevens off in the series. It's just not going to happen. They got too much respect for Ray Stevens. But overall, Baylan's character, like he's not a good guy. He's not the bad guy. He's just like this guy, you know, and he's just like there just because. He doesn't want to kill Ahsoka. He already said that there's too many few Jedis left. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to kill her. He just wants power. He wants to have enough power that he can stop the conflict from continuing.
right.
And it's just so intriguing because we're not really used to, I mean, we're used to bad guys doing good guy shit. I mean, Vader threw Palpatine down the hole, you know what I'm saying? We seen Ben turn back to the light side. We seen, you know, and throughout the books, there's a whole bunch of people that just go back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So, but to actually see somebody that's like, I don't care about all that shit. I just want to stop the conflict. Just that's it. Just stop the conflict. You guys go do what you guys are going to do. I'm looking for this power so I can stop the conflict, the cycle of the Jedi Sith fighting each other. So he's basically looking for that type of power that he can just fucking dictate to everybody what they're going to do. He's not in it for like him to be powerful. His goal is that, from at least what we've seen. So with it being that, it's just so intriguing because I want to know where this philosophy comes from. Where is he getting these notions from? And they're not explaining none of that stuff. And, you know, it's a limited time. And then, you know, Ray Stevens is, you know, gone. So it's not like they can really go that much depth into the story of who he really was. They gave us the little tidbits to keep us excited, and it'll be like a Yoda character. We'll never fucking know what happens, which is fine with me because that's what it makes it even better.
Right. I think what's cool is like we have a character where he's got like new, exciting, and fresh motivations. Like, well, Sabine just wants to find Ezra. Thrawn obviously wants to take over. He's there to the Empire, but this guy, he literally wants to reset the clock. He wants to start over. You know what I mean? And that's something, one, we don't know exactly what that means. And two, we've never seen a character with that kind of like outlook before. And so I think it's so interesting to have a character whose goals are totally fresh and totally new, and whose motivations are like that. And the fact that he's like mysterious at the same time while also giving us just enough to like continue to be interested. He's a great character so far. I love him.
I think he is like, and I see Disney's. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I see Disney's track record on this, because Obi-Wan Kenobi series more about Reva, giving us a new fresh character. But it kind of sucks that they're giving us this character, and we can't continue the character's journey just because of the situation, which they're not. And the other thing is, he's a secondary character that's not taken away from Ahsoka. It's not overpowering like they did Reva. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Reva was just overpowering in Kenobi. Even though she was a great character and she was very intriguing. I want to learn more about the whole thing, how she joined the Inquisitors, what transition, how she survived the first lightsaber when Anakin killed her the first time. I want to know all that stuff. So they did, both times they did a good job. It was too overpowering in Kenobi with Reva.
Well,
Baylan is not taken away from Ahsoka. And I have to admit today, I've had a change of heart. I really had a change of heart. Because as we were watching, as Ahsoka and Huyang, or however you say his name, were talking in the ship, and she's smiling and giggling and laughing, I kind of got a tingle. I think I would give it to Rosario Dawson now. I think I could forget about the.
Well, no. What I honestly think it is because I had this in my notes. Is we're seeing. I honestly think it was just the way it was written. Because
when she smiled and she was moving around in there,
she did great.
I got a tingle.
For me, in the first couple episodes, Rosario Dawson, at least her portrayal of being the serious kind of stoic Ahsoka, I haven't been a fan of. But now that we're seeing her personality come through a little bit and like her happy and joking, it's been significantly better, making Ahsoka a lot more of a likable character. So I agree. About that. I don't. She plays that version of Ahsoka a lot better.
I'm talking about when she was moving around the cabin and she smiling and laughing. The shaft jumped.
Oh, geez. Oh, you got dirty. I'm trying to be positive, say some good things about Ahsoka.
Hey, that's very good.
I'm getting horny over here. Get a little chump.
Hey, yeah, Ahsoka. I was like, ooh. I might give it to Rosario Dawson now. I like Rosario Dawson Ahsoka now a little bit more.
Even if she gives you AIDS?
I completely forgot about that till you mentioned you fucking asshole. Her portrayal of the character this time was so much better. It was so much more lively than we've got in some of the other episodes.
Way better.
And her fighting, when her and Baylan was fighting, the lightsaber duel looked excellent. Like, dude, it was so much like, I don't know if she just got better as, because she was doing it every day. And from the first couple times, I mean, to me, they've been good all the time. I haven't really had too many problems with it. But today's performance, or yesterday's performance in the episode, was way better, like just so much better, crisper, cleaner, look more fluent, and I was like, it was very captivating to watch it. And then, there was just so much more. Right. And with the lightsaber still sparking, oh man, it's just
And I noticed when Sabine actually stabbed people, you actually saw it cut through people. I loved it. It was great.
Well, I was like, you said something about the Baylan, the whole situation with Baylan and Ahsoka fighting and how it all ended up.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved how the fight between Baylan and Ahsoka, nobody won, and it ended with Ahsoka leaving. One, because it shows Ahsoka smart. She doesn't need to sit here and fight all day. She's got shit to do. That beautiful. But number two, it allows us to keep it going where we still have like this respect and fear of Baylan because we know he can beat Ahsoka. and he's still out there. And two, it postpones another climactic fight. It's not like, oh, one character gets beat and then comes back unrealistically, or another character comes back from the dead. It's postponing the end. So we're going to see more of that fight. And I like the way that happened. It was a great way to not kill off one of the characters, yet still have an end to that fight while having it make sense and go with the story.
Well, I was thinking about something. You know, I think that as a culture, you know, and as sci-fi nerds, we're all sci-fi nerds, you know, a lot of people got The Walking Dead was just constant kill, 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 kill. You know, and we kind of got...
and Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, kill, kill, kill. Just somebody dying. Every main characters, they didn't give a shit who you were. You could die. You know what I'm saying?
Was safe.
No one was safe. And, you know, even like in Andor, the very beginning of Andor, somebody's dying. Like, it's just, somebody's always dying. And it's kind of nice to see them not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Them going on a path that was better. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I like people dying. It makes the show feel more suspenseful to me, because if nobody's ever going to die, it gets kind of like, all right, why am I getting excited if I know they're not? But
they didn't need to, like you said, they didn't need to do it.
Exactly.
They didn't need to follow that.
The way they ended it, exactly. The way they ended it, they didn't have to kill anybody, but it still made sense. It still was like a believable ending to that sword fight.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think it made it so much better, especially because they go into it. They did the little samurai pose thing, but it wasn't super long like in some of the other episodes when they did it. Right. It wasn't super long. It was real quick. Boom, they was at it. They going back and forth. The like I said before, the movements were very fluent. It looked like they're getting better as you know, the more they practice as they was filming. So, I mean, everything just looked really, really good. And then, like you said, she runs off. You know, Ahsoka runs off, goes and handles her business. It leaves us in that field of suspense.
Right.
The storytelling right here was very good. Like some of the other episodes, there was like parts that just like didn't need to be there. The pacing was off. This one was very, very fluent. You know what I'm saying? It was very fluent. Went right to the next scene very well. The transitions of the music, that was another thing that because they transitioned music so well in the scene. So, like, you know, she's fighting Balin, and then when she slides off, it transitions during an action. And you can't even tell it transitions to another song, but it does. And it's a whole different, it gives you a whole different feeling for that thing. All that shit was done superb. Like, freaking, it was very good.
Yeah, I think part of why that Ahsoka Balin fight was better than the ones we've seen is they cut it. So, like, we weren't just seeing a whole straight fight of them hitting and then, like, slowing down. Instead of, like, during the natural pauses in the fight, they cut to Sabine and Ezra and then cut back. So it just made it like you didn't get sick of bad lightsaber choreography because they cut it up and there were natural pauses in the fight where they could cut away and then bring it back. So it made the fight feel more drawn out without having bad choreography, and it made everything, I don't know, it just made it flow better. So I think that fight was definitely one of the better fights we've seen, not because like they did anything crazy, but just because of the pacing of it.
It was just well edited.
The way they cut in between. Yeah.
It was just very well edited. Now,
overall,
y'all not going to change my mind about these damn dog things. That shit just looks weird. Like, I can't get to that. That was one of the things that I disliked. I think that was like overall, like really that, and just some of the dialogue was just a little bit wonky. Other than that's like the only two things that I had against it. Other than that, it like when
you guys know me. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. You fine. Go ahead.
Oh, but I mean, y'all know me. You know, y'all know like I'm not afraid to like criticize. I can be kind of negative and pessimistic, and I stand by it. I still stand by all the things I've said. But this episode seemed like, don't get me wrong, there were flaws, but this episode seemed to have a lot less of those flaws than other episodes.
That's what I thought. You know, and it wasn't some of the things that like where it felt like I didn't feel like I was watching like the rest of them felt kind of, and you said this, the dialogue felt kind of kiddish. You know what I'm saying?
Every time, almost, and in every show that we've seen, the New Republic, it gets to that. Something, and then, whenever the New Republic comes in, it just gets
like today.
Not great.
It wasn't as bad. Like the dialogue wasn't like, because I go back and watch the other episodes, and that really doesn't bother me when the dialogue is, you know what I'm saying, kiddish, because I got to understand that they're making this for everybody. Right. But at the same time, like this episode still had a little bit of, episode 5 even had a little bit of it. Right. But it seemed more realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like two actual people talking together and not, you know what I'm saying?
Well, for me, like I said, like the New Republic and the senators and C-3PO and Hera, all that dialogue was still not good, and I still didn't like it. It's weird. But with like Ezra's dialogue is still funky, but it's true to his character. Like that's how he was.
He's been gone for a long time too.
And it's, Ezra, I think they did. Sorry, another topic, but Ezra.
Chris, you know who that senator is, right? All right, hold on. We just been talking. What's going on, Chris, Star Wars team leader, Dr. Kari? What's happening, everybody?
I do like Enoch, Star Wars team leader.
Nielsen, what's going on? Okay, that's what's his face from fucking
Mando season 3?
Resistance, or not Resistance. Star Wars Resistance, or what is it? Fucking, we had the damn actor that played him on, that voiced him on the damn show. No, not from Rebels.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that's him. Exos, whatever, Senator Exos or whatever. That's who that's supposed to be.
Sure.
Watch, I'll show y'all. Hold up. Well, I didn't think about it at first, but then when it really went down to it, that's who that is.
But either way, like, I think this episode just had a lot less wrong with it. I still think that dialogue. I'll go over my like negatives, I guess, first, and then we'll go into all the positives because I feel like that is a little bit better. The dialogue at the beginning was just clunky and weird. Sorry, I didn't like it. C-3PO, you can definitely tell the movements were weird and the costume wasn't great. Still not a fan of the alien costumes. Disney's hasn't been on the nose too much with those alien costumes. They've been a little bit wonky. New Republic is trash like always. And then the one part in the story that I thought was weird was when Ahsoka's like standing on the stairs, and instead of jumping off, she just has him switch the stairs into a slide. That was weird. That was really weird. Chris says Ezra was the biggest bitch in this episode. I didn't get what I was expecting, but I was hoping Ezra would have taken his lightsaber and just went to town. Wasn't a fan of his Force Kung Fu. You know me, I honestly didn't mind that. I know, and which is weird because Chris, you know me, I'm the first one to like. I'm not afraid to criticize, but I actually didn't mind it. It was, I mean, I wish he would have used a lightsaber at some point, but I definitely thought that was kind of neat.
That's a reference, though.
Yeah, I think it shows how much, because he's been here alone without a lightsaber for how long. It shows that he's like had to rely and practice and rely on the Force, and I love seeing how strong he is in the Force. Like when he was fighting the girl, what's her name? Anyway, when he's fighting the girl,
Haida, however you say her fucking name.
Well, another thing, it allowed him to fight because let's be honest, if he had a lightsaber, he would have killed her in like 2 seconds. But the fact that he didn't have a lightsaber and he was fighting with her just with the Force made the fight believable, where he wouldn't kill her, but she still didn't have a chance at beating him.
Well, and it's a reference to several things.
Right. Not only is it a reference, but it also makes sense.
Yoda says it. It's said in Rebels and in the Clone Wars what he says, I don't need the force. I don't need a lightsaber. The force is my ally, and a great ally it is. So, it's a reference to Yoda. It also references Darth Vader. So Darth Vader stopping fucking we were just talking about her fucking Reva's lightsaber with the force. Yeah. Plus, we've seen it a lot in Rebels and Clone Wars. We see Ahsoka do it in the Tales of the Jedi. So it referenced a lot of different things. There was a lot of Easter eggs all piled in one. And that's why I liked it. I was like, dude, that's kind of cool because they referenced a lot of shit in there. Like I said, there's a shit ton of Easter eggs in that. And that was one of the Easter eggs. Yeah. There's a shit ton of the Easter eggs.
I think Ezra, they're doing a great job with him. He's got weird dialogue, but dialogue that is accurate to how he was in Rebels, where it's not like it's just it's his personality, not so much his dialogue. It's just his personality, and that's how he talks. And I'm really loving how they did Ezra, because you can tell he's learned a lot through the Force. He's gotten a lot stronger, but he's still kind of like a kid at heart. And I'm blown away with how well they're doing Ezra. And I'm glad that Ahsoka has personality again. Ahsoka's definitely better. That minefield. What did you think about the minefield around the planet, Kyle?
I thought that was kind of cool because we've never seen.
Awesome. We've never seen that, and again, it's something that makes sense and fits with the story, and would be like, well, yeah, like, of course they would put mines around a planet. Like, love that. That was, oh man. See, so there was a lot more good stuff in this episode too. Like stuff that makes sense. I like how this episode.
All right, Nelson, sense. You're right. You're right. It is Kaz's father. I thought it was Kaz. I don't know. I read an article that said it was Kaz. I probably need to read more through shit because I read like half the article and then quit reading it. I was like, all right, I'm done. I got what I wanted to know. That's me being a dumbass.
But I feel like they paid more attention to detail with their logical consistencies in this episode. Thrawn was dope.
Yeah, Thrawn was dope. The Night Mothers, the way they used the fucking 3 balls to fucking that shit was fucking different. Where
she was, that was awesome. And again, it makes sense with like their powers. Loved it. When Thrawn like found out it was Ahsoka, and when they said like who the master was, it seemed like you could tell like he knew that name, and part of him was like, shit, okay. Like he wasn't scared, but he was definitely like.
And see,
he knew the name.
We don't know. Like we don't know if, and I'm trying to remember. I think it does say that he knew that Anakin was Vader. But if you go back to
with the reaction he had,
if you go back to the original Thrawn books, and they talk about him and Anakin joined forces at one point in time. And they work together, so he knows how powerful Anakin. Now I don't remember if it says. Yeah, I think he did know. I think it's in the last books that he knew, but he knew that. But in the original trilogy, him and Anakin had this shit, so he knows Anakin and Darth Vader. Who Anakin becomes is Darth Vader. You know what I'm saying? And he knows Anakin back when Anakin was a Jedi. And
right.
So, like, for when he said that, and he was like, "Oh shit, really? That's it?" Like, really? He gave that look. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was a little bit like he was like, "Fuck, man, Jesus, we oh man, we got to deal with her. Like, why couldn't she be somebody else's Padawan?" You know what I'm saying? He kind of gave that look, and he was like, yep, send two things of troops to go get her, to go out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Night Witch sisters, like, find her, because we need to kill her ass. But, dude, I think, I also
like the strategy with Thrawn, how he's like, we don't have to kill her, we just have to leave her on the island, or leave her on the planet.
And that's like his philosophy for everything. It's like, just leave everybody here, which is, he's playing a long game. Now, we have to touch on, and like, I didn't notice it, but Garrison noticed something about C-3PO because we know C-3PO did his guest appearance on this episode, and once again, Leia Organa spoke up in the episode.
Right.
So we know C-3PO. That's one of the Easter eggs. I don't know why they called it the Easter egg. Everybody's seen that shit. Everybody knows who C-3PO is. But you and I didn't notice it. But you said something about it, and then I think the Star Wars team leader or Chris said something about it.
Star Wars team leader said something, yeah.
About him walking differently in
his movements were very different, and then the costume was obviously not as good. But yeah, his movements were definitely off.
I mean, at this point, the New Republic's open. He done got cleaned up, and they probably bought a bunch of new panels and shit. Because he's still working.
It wasn't the panels; it was his abdomen.
It was his abdomen. I didn't notice.
Difference.
And I guess I wasn't paying that much attention to it because I ain't gonna lie. As soon as he walked out, I said, "Oh my God, fuck, we got C-3PO now."
I know. I rolled my eyes at first. I rolled my eyes, was like, "Really, C-3PO?" but
I think it would have been better if it was. Well, I don't know, because R2 can't talk, so I think the dialogue would have been all weird if R2 would have rolled out there and then they would have to translate.
What I think they should have done is they should have had R2 and then he does like a projection of Leia.
Yeah, that would have been dope.
And what you could have made it easy. You could have just had it like viewed from behind, so you didn't even have to show Leia. You just show her back silhouette while like her voice. I think that probably would have been a little bit better than C-3PO, but. Whatever.
I mean, but I don't know. I didn't really pay. Like I said, my first instinct, now we got C-3PO. Like, who else are they going to bring in today into the episode? Yeah. But, we haven't seen C-3PO in a while.
Right.
He hasn't been in none of the series. We didn't see him in Mando because he's not there with Luke. So we haven't seen him. So it was refreshing because we hadn't seen him in a while to see, old 3PO.
Did we see R2 in any of the flashbacks? Because I don't think we did. And I think it would have been really cool if we had R2 in the flashbacks and then C-3PO on this episode. That would be cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to... No, we seen R2 in Book of Boba Fett.
But I mean, like in the same series, seeing R2 and C-3PO.
No, I don't think we have.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool having in the flashback when they're in the Clone Wars, seeing R2.
But we have seen R2. R2 was in Mando and Book of Boba Fett. So,
right, I know.
So
I'm just saying,
we haven't seen C-3PO since the sequels, so it was kind of refreshing to see him. But at first I was like, oh, really? We got C-3PO. But then, listening to it. But I didn't really notice anything like that was bad with him. I know Chopper got pissed off.
Nah, so, yeah, like I said, the movements were definitely off. I don't know who was it Anthony Daniels inside still? Well, either way, I see C-3PO.
I don't think it was a fan service. It was just because I don't know. I don't think like C-3PO being in there or like R2 or none of the droids is like, to me. Well, I don't even consider this shit fan service because it made sense, and you know why they did it. I mean, it made sense because you know what I'm saying. We can't see Leia; she's dead. Carrie Fisher's gone. So, like, unless they did something like Garrison said, rolled him in and showed the back silhouette of her or something like that. But it just made sense for C-3PO to come in, especially because we know that C-3PO was been with Leia, for a while. I think Luke took R2 and, well, no, even in the sequel trilogy, R2 was there. Remember, he just shut himself off when Luke went rogue and went to his planet to die. Right. So it it just made sense for him to come in. Right. Somebody like that. Now if it was fucking like Luke walked in there, then I'd probably been like, yeah, that might have been a fan service. And that's what I originally thought it was when the door opened. I thought it was going to be Luke Skywalker walking in and being like, the Force told me something.
It was an obvious Easter egg, and it was definitely like for the fans, but it was close enough where like, all right, I believe it. That's part of the story. That makes sense. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
mean-
Where it didn't like piss me off.
Because when the door first opened up, I thought it was going to be Luke coming through talking about, some Jedi
Oh,
Force.
no. I thought it was going to be
Force.
Leia. And I was like, oh, shit. And then I saw C-3PO and I was like, oh, actually, like, that makes sense.
I really
Probably
thought it was going to be
better, like,
Luke.
than de-aging.
I thought Luke was going to come in and say some Force shit. Like I had a fucking Force sensation or some shit. And I was about to be like, oh, God.
I don't know how
That was going to be really bad if they would have done that. But
I don't think
I
they
didn't
would
mind
even listen
C3PO.
to him, to be honest. But one thing that I do like, you guys, like, most of my problems with the previous episodes have been like logical inconsistencies or logical things that are like, all right, this is kind of weird. One of the things that I want to point out that they did a good job of a lot was the whales. I know this is super nitpicky and small, but how they have like the bones around. Usually bodies won't decompose in space. Okay, they'll stay pretty well preserved. But no. But if you look closely, when Ahsoka and the droid are talking in the ship, it shows like little tiny aliens like floating around on the bones. So like, no wonder they're just bones. There's aliens like eating the flesh that's been
Like some
I don't
type
know.
of space bacteria or
Yeah,
something.
dude. Super nitpicky, but I saw it and I was like, I like that attention to detail. I like it.
I didn't even notice that shit. And I watched
I know.
it 3 times.
You
and I
had
didn't
to
even
look in the
notice.
back, and it was really
I
small.
thought
and
that
I had
just
to
was some
rewind
fucking
it.
dust fly around or something.
I had to rewind it and make sure I saw what I was seeing. But yeah, I thought it was neat.
Star Wars team leader said Claudia Black is doing a great Night Sister. I think even the chick that's playing fucking Morgan, she's a pretty good damn actress because like she's been on top of her shit. Like I haven't seen like, and I gotta say that with everybody on this show so far has been fucking like a good fucking actor. Like, don't one of the nitpicky things that I do have. Why the fuck they didn't age fucking Mom Mothma? You know what I'm saying? She looks exactly the same. Like, you could have aged her a little bit. She looked exactly the same in Andor. She does that, like, aged actors. You know what I'm saying? Like, why didn't you make her look older? She looks exactly the same. Like, wasn't nobody gonna notice, and this is fucking 20 years difference. Like, this is not, like, no, man, this is... No, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, why does she look exactly the same? She don't look any older.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, that's one of the things. That shit, I was sitting there and I was like, why is Mom Mothma the same age in Andor as she is in here? Like, why didn't they age her? I mean, wouldn't it be way easier to age somebody than it would be to de-age them? Fuck, they do de-aging pretty damn good. And you got the original actor, I don't think it would be too damn hard to age them, make them look a little bit older. I didn't get that. Like, dude, she looks exactly the same. Like, what, people don't age and what the fuck? She's like human. Yeah, so that shit kind of bothered me. But that's nothing against the show. That was just bad planning.
like I said, of all the shows, I'm definitely like this one had a less to criticize. There was still stuff there. But for me, there was less to criticize than normal. Which I'm sure Chris will be happy about that. So
no, I think like it wasn't as good as 5. I don't know what it was about 5. 5 was just fucking good. That motherfucker had me on my edge of my seat the whole time. This one was exciting. You know what I'm saying? It had a lot of action. It had a lot of stuff. It had some very good dialogue. It had, we found out a lot of good details about the show, about the characters in here. So it wasn't like, and nowhere was it like slow where I was just like, oh, fuck, this is boring. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like I was last episode, like, oh, fuck, man, y'all fucked up this pacing because I'm bored. So they did, they did a really good job of that. But it just, I don't know, there's just something about it, just, it wasn't as good as 5. I don't know what the fuck makes 5 so damn good. Like,
I think you were just pumped to see Anakin and Ahsoka together.
Well, I mean, we seen Anakin in this episode, and he name dropped Asajj Ventress. He name dropped Count Dooku, General Grievous. We found out that he made 20 videos for Ahsoka, which was dope. All that shit was dope. I didn't get that same feeling. Not to say this episode was bad, because so far, I don't really think there's a bad episode in this. You know, I think there was some things that were done that I think I could have done differently, or I would have done differently if it was me. But I haven't rated any of the episodes bad, and this one's not bad neither. It's just I don't know what it is about 5. 5 was fucking good as shit. This episode was good, but at the same time, it wasn't like fucking as good as 5 for some reason. And the thing that's boggling my mind is I don't know why. Like, I really don't know why, because like this one had way more lightsaber battles, had way more action. We had stormtroopers in, or the night troopers. We had,
I think, yeah.
Space battles. We had, I mean, this episode had everything that you could want in an episode. But and I'm not even saying there's something bad with this episode. I just don't know what about 5 that was so good that I'm like, fuck, man, why can't
See, I really think you like 5 so much, and a lot of people like 5 so much, is because they were just excited to see Ahsoka and Anakin together. And like,
I don't even know if it was that. I think
pumped everybody up so much.
Child and teenage Ahsoka.
She did good. I liked her.
I really liked that part. I mean, them parts was really, really good. We got to see the Clone Wars. We got to see Rex in live action. I don't want to say this for a fact, but I think the Vader walking and him transforming from Anakin to fucking Vader, I think that's one of the fucking dopest scenes that I've seen in Star Wars in a very long time. That fucking scene was just dope as shit. When he's walking through the fog, coming towards Ahsoka after he kicks her, and he's Anakin, and he changes to Vader, and then he changes back to Anakin and back to Vader. That shit was fucking dope. That shit just, I don't know, that shit just stuck with me for some reason. I think about it all the time, like that scene was fucking dope. That was like one of the dopest scenes ever in Star Wars. Like, I think that shit ranks up there with fucking the Vader hallway scene.
Really?
Yes, I do.
I wouldn't go that far. I really
wouldn't.
It was
the visual effects on that shit and the way they did it and how fucking seamless that shit was. That shit was just fucking excellent, man. It was so fucking good. I think that's what it is. I'm not gonna say that's totally what it is.
I think that might be
because I don't know.
As far as this episode, it wasn't like one of the things that I think is valid. It wasn't really. It didn't move the story along a whole lot. You can definitely tell they're trying to slow it down to postpone for a season 2. I stand by. I stand by. I really think this would have made better movie because
you got to think about it like this. Picture this.
Stretching.
Because Ahsoka, Thrawn has to come back next episode. They're gonna fly the fuck back, and I'm a firm believer that fucking Balin's gonna get fucking left. The other one, they're all gonna get away somehow. The fucking, you know what I'm saying? Somehow they're gonna get away. They're gonna get back to the thing, and then that's when the New Republic and Hera shows up, and they're like, "Oh fuck, Thrawn is back," and all these fucking different remnant fucking things come together, and we get started to working on season 2. And I only think there's going to be 2 seasons of Ahsoka though. I think there's going to be 2 seasons, and then it'll lead up to Dave Filoni's movie.
Right. I kind of agree.
There's just not like a whole lot to do before that, because then you still got a lot of explaining to do from how we get to Thrawn to Snoke and fucking Ben leaving and turning into Kylo Ren and stuff like that. There's still some story left in there that we have to be told, because if he flies back next episode, we only got one more episode left.
I thought there's only 8.
Yeah, there's only 8. Today was 7.
So this was 7. We got one more episode.
And
Star Wars team leader makes a good point. Like, this episode, there was less to nitpick, and there was some really good parts, but they're kind of stretching content-wise, trying to make it last so that they can have enough for a season 2. Like,
well,
I still think this would have made such much better movies, I think.
I think that because I mean, there's too much shit that got to happen in a fucking hour episode. You know what I'm saying? Even if they did a 2-hour episode at the end, that's a lot of shit you got to do. You got to lead all the way up to the movie. Yeah. And there's just Thrawn's just gonna make it back in the next episode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't see how they. I think they, like I said, they're gonna leave Balin. Balin's gonna stay there, and you know what I'm saying. That's a good way to get rid of that character. You know what I'm saying, without killing him, and you know.
Well, I want to know what power he's looking for on the planet, dude.
I hope they tell us that. At least tell us that. I really want to know that too. I was just. There's going to be a season 2. I think Dave has already fucking written season 2, and I think season 2 will lead up to the movie. I really do. I think it's going to be, and because we got to see what happens with the Here to the Empire. You know what I'm saying? Lest they just get rid of the fucking sequel trilogy, which I'm always down for that. I know people hate to hear us keep bashing on the sequel trilogy, but that shit is garbage. You know, and then do like, the only problem is, once again, if they do get rid of the sequel trilogy as part of canon timeline, then they have to make a multiverse. And I don't know if I'm down for a Star Wars multiverse.
No, never.
I think I'd be more happier just keeping the sequel trilogy. But then they have to lead up to that, and that's what Dave Filoni's movie is supposed to do, lead us up to the sequel trilogy. So if there got to be a season 2, I just don't see how they could cram all that. I mean, that's a lot of shit still got to go on, and we got to get Mando, we got to get Boba Fett. Everybody got to start getting together and helping and doing this or whatever, you know, it happens. So they got to intermingle a lot of different content, because you know that was one of the Easter eggs. All right, so real quick, I'm just gonna run through the Easter eggs because we've been talked about a lot of them already. So, Ahsoka and Sabine share a Padawan bond. You have Ezra talks about her previous training. You got Return to Coruscant, the galactic capital. You know, that's the first time we've seen the galactic capital since the rebellion took over, since the New Republic, all the way up till The Force Awakens. This is the first. No, well, actually, you know, because that's Andor, so that's previous. Ahsoka's place in the timeline is fixed now, so we know right where it's at. It's after the crisis on Mandalore, the conflict on Mandalore. We know it's after Moff Gideon. You know what I'm saying? We know, you know, right about in the timeline where Ahsoka is definitely at. We talked about the unexpected cameo from C-3PO. We talked about the 20 holovids for Ahsoka. We talked about the General Grievous and Count Dooku and Asajj Ventress name drop. We talked about the asteroid field full of bones, the Bone Edition asteroid field chase.
Which was good.
Call back to Battle of Endor was spoken in it.
Right.
Because she talks about Endor. Sabine
that was
tells
cool.
Ezra.
I liked him catching up and her telling him the history. That was cool. That was good.
Carson Trevor refers to Moff Gideon and the conflict at Mandalore. Ezra unarmed combat is a callback to Rebels and the Clone Wars and Darth Vader.
Well,
you know, and what Ezra said. I mean, there's so many callbacks on that one. Grand Admiral Thrawn reacts to Anakin's name drop. We talked about that. Hera name dropped the Imperial Remnant. Leia's role in the New Republic confirmed. She's a senator of the New Republic. Morgan gives Grand Admiral the Inquisitor database. We talked about that. The Raiders circle the turtles like a band of like bandits in the old West. When they're circling them, they're going a circle. It looks just like an old Western, like Indian
I was
circling
gonna say that.
thing.
Bro, that whole scene. Sorry, when we get to our favorite parts, I'll talk more about that. I love that part.
It gave you once again, it gave you like the Mandalorian type thing, because Mandalorian is more Western based. It gave you that Western style feel that we got from Han Solo and the way he acted.
There was many reasons I like that part. Right.
Not only that, you got the Jango Fett quick draw. You know what I'm saying? These are all cowboy Western type references. And for them to drop that in there, that was like one of the references that we got from a Western that we didn't have before. You know, we ain't never had that in Star Wars before. So that was really cool. Rebel is still, Rebel's Ezra's still in that mind state. He's still there. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he's talking, he's looking, and the way he's acting, if you really pay attention, and this might just me, it's like time is not going as fast there. So like a lot of time has passed, and he's like, "What?
Well,
like, dude, like how much stuff could happen? I ain't even been gone that long."
I think he's been alone, and I think, dude, I gotta give props to this actor. He is doing a spot on Ezra. Like,
he's doing a pretty good
man. He's doing a great Ezra.
The jokiness of Ezra.
I swear it's the same character. Like, oh my gosh! Like, you guys know I'm not a fan of this live action Sabine. And Ahsoka's been different than the cartoon Ahsoka. This guy, I literally can't even tell I'm watching live action sometimes. Like, he is Ezra. He's doing a stellar job, man. He's totally killing Ezra.
Sabine believes the Empire was defeated at Endor. And it was, but you know, this is what she believes. As we know that there's still the Imperial Remnant. So Sabine reveals Zeb is training recruits. So we got a Zeb name drop and what he's doing. Star Wars subverted the hero's landing trope. The Emperor died, is what people are saying. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's saying that the Emperor is dead. The Night Sisters, we talked about the Night Sisters using their dark side magic to track Ahsoka, which was dope. Something that we've seen in Rebels. The turtles fight like Ewoks.
Yeah, but did you notice, like, they were shooting slingshots at guys, and the slingshots didn't do, like, stupid shit where the guy, like, fell off his horse, like,
yeah, they made stormtroopers.
They made it realistic. I loved it. I loved it, man. Sorry, I'll get back to that scene. I want to talk about that scene.
Thrawn playing the long game. We talked about that. And Balin, and a lot of people didn't catch this. Balin references Yoda in the Clone Wars, in one of the Clone Wars episodes. I couldn't remember which one. But Yoda says almost the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? If you rush in, you will fail. You know what I'm saying? That's what Yoda says. If you rush in, you will fail. He tells one of the Padawans that in one of the episodes of Clone Wars. Couldn't find out which one, but I know I heard it. So with him saying that, and what Balin said, which is actually a quote from I can't remember the guy's name now. It's actually a quote. I've actually used that quote before on has that episode. I don't think the episode came out yet. I just have it written down. But Yoda uses basically the same reference, and Balin, when he says that, it's basically a callback to Yoda, and that's all the Easter eggs I found. I know there's probably more, but I found like 24 of them, because the second time I watched it, I really paid attention to the references. And I was like, dude, they did a lot. Dave is pulling all stops when it comes to referencing other Star Wars. Like, he's putting a lot of Star Wars references in here. A lot of references back to the other Star Wars movies and animation. So that's something that I really like. That's one of my favorite parts about watching any of the series is the callbacks, you know what I'm saying, the Easter eggs. Finding out all the little stuff. And Andor was kind of harder because What's-His-Face didn't want them. They were sneaking them in because What's-His-Face didn't want them to have any Star Wars references in Andor to the other parts of the franchise. So to see Dave like throwing them in there all the time, like really good references, they apply to the story very well. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun looking for the Easter eggs. I have to say that I've been enjoying looking for the Easter eggs.
All right.
Now,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. You're fine. I was leading into what you was gonna say anyway.
Oh, what was your least favorite parts and what was your favorites?
No, I was going to the cowboy. I mean, the scene with the turtles when they're running
Well, yeah,
and the guy.
because
and the dude-
yeah. So that scene, flipping one, yeah, total Old West vibes when they're doing the chase and when they circle up, Old West vibe, and when they circle up, that makes sense that like a species like that on a planet that are like turtle kinds would run at first and then like circle up like that. So it makes sense like from a logical
Well, I mean, not even like turtle people like that. I mean, we did that in Old West. That's how they used to do. They'd put all
it makes sense.
all the stuff together, and then they'd get all set up when the alien. I mean, the Indians were circling around them, and
Exactly.
and
You're
I guess
slower, so you got to circle up and protect and defend. Yeah,
I mean,
Makes-
it was
makes
done,
sense.
and that whole ending, like when Sabine and Ezra and Ahsoka are all together. I mean, that was just a very heartfelt scene. It really looked like Rosario Dawson really made. She did a good job in this one, I have to say, because her,
Much better.
cracking jokes with Ezra,
Her happy Ahsoka is really good.
and just the hugging and it was very emotional scene, and it was just really well done. And I like the night stormtroopers. Now I really wish when they got shot or they got sliced through with a lightsaber, they disappeared like Morik. I was hoping that was going to happen.
No.
Now I have this gut feeling that they're going to be zombies. You know what I'm saying? I have a gut feeling that all the fucking the night troopers are going to be.
I was worried that they would just disappear. I liked how they.
I didn't want them to be zombies. I'm tired of seeing zombies. Everything's a fucking zombie nowadays. I didn't want to see zombies, so I'd have much rather seen the Morik thing. I was hoping they were going to be like Morik and just turn into fucking whatever he was, dust or smoke or whatever he turned into. But I was hoping that was going to happen. And when they just fell down and they didn't get back up, I was like, oh man, these are like weak zombies. They're not even good zombies. Or they're stormtroopers that were still alive and they just been up there chilling with Thrawn the whole time and they were somewhere else on the ship.
I hope that's it.
But I don't know. It seemed like they were shooting too good. They were shooting a lot straighter than the other stormtroopers. They hit shit.
Well,
but it seemed like they were shooting straight.
Sorry. Speaking of that, another reason I love that the chase scene with the wagon and the wolves was, Star Wars infamous with like people shooting at each other and everybody missing and it being kind of like, come on, someone would hit each other. By having that big chase scene, it allows them to miss without being like annoying and bullshit. Because if you've ever tried to shoot off horseback, it's fucking hard.
And then
moving targets, it's fucking hard when you're bouncing around. So it allows like them to like shoot at each other without actually hitting too much while still making it like realistic and exciting.
And even the stormtroopers, or the night troopers, when they were shooting, they hit Sabine several times.
Right.
And that's something else that I like, that they didn't just miss every single time, which I know that Disney Star Wars is trying to get away from that. It was an ongoing joke with George and them that the stormtroopers didn't hit shit.
But it's
and we talked about
from Rebels. Like, I don't know. They did a really good job this episode.
And they're different, you know what I'm saying? Because they're night troopers. They're not stormtroopers that we know of. You know what I'm saying? They're called night troopers. We don't know if they're stormtroopers that were just on the ship, like I said before.
I'm just assuming, like, even if they're regular people, you would think Thrawn would, like, they're sitting on this planet. Thrawn would put them through some extra training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just Thrawn. So yeah, I loved it.
Star Wars Team Labor said this episode gave a lot of eye candy, but it was just didn't give more to the story. And with this being episode 6, it worries me that we're going to be
7,
crappy ending coming. It was better, but yeah, I am kind of scared of that too.
Yeah, no, they're definitely gonna have a hard time finishing up the season.
Yeah. I don't want to see zombies. Darth Akari said Tony Gilroy. I was trying to get to his name. I just couldn't remember his fucking name. Hopefully, Nielsen said, hopefully we see Zeb recruiting Mando. If we do, it'll be in the season 2. It ain't gonna be in it. I mean, unless they bring a lot of shit into this next one, and then it's just gonna be a fucking CGI fucking action fest with no storyline, and it's gonna be like we still need some story. Did you notice Ahsoka had different lightsabers in her dojo? I wonder if she will give Ezra one of them. Honestly, I didn't even see that. I can't even say I've seen that, but that would be cool. Even that fight scene, even her practicing that shit was dope. Anakin instructing her. That I like. That it's crazy because I liked everything about this fucking episode, but there was just and I can get past the fucking, you know what I'm saying, the fucking you know what I'm saying, Mon Mothra shit, you know, being the same age 20 fucking years later. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can get past that. I can even get past the fucking wolf thingies. I don't know what it was. It was just something that didn't make this fucker good as fire. I don't know what it is. It's fucking, this was a great episode. It was a fucking good episode. I mean, like, I don't have too much to complain about. Yeah. Like, it's very nitpicky shit.
Story, not much, but yeah, much better. I agree. And I'm nitpicky. I mean, you know me, and this was better.
It was a lot better, and I guess that's why I'm worried, Crispy, and I agree with you, Star Wars team leader, because, like, what's coming next then? You know what I'm saying? Like, really, what, like, dude, what is the length on the next episode? Here, let me look that shit up right quick, talk right quick.
But Star Wars team leader says, Enoch is a zombie. If you go to his name, he was out of biblical, as he entered heaven, not dead. That means he was undead, so zombie. In the Bible, he got like taken up without dying to live with God. So I don't think just his name means he's a zombie. Now, he might be a zombie, may or may not, but I don't think the name means he's a zombie. Because it's not like Enoch came back from the dead. He just didn't die. So I don't know if that's zombie so much. Darth Kari, I still want to talk about Ezra getting some head in his transport from Sabine. No, I don't think so yet. Didn't look like it. I hope. Hope my guy got some head. It's been a long time with these turtle people, which leads me, what do you think he was doing with the turtle people when there was nobody else there?
Is that right?
You think those turtle people were giving him some head? Or was he just jerking it or what? Because that's a long time going solo. While you look that up, yeah, Nelson, there has been a lot of references to the Bible. Jumping in the whale's mouth, that was straight out of the Bible. But I want to talk about your least favorite part and your favorite part. So I'll put that in your chat. What was your least favorite? What was your favorite? Kyle, what was your least favorite part?
Oh, hold up. Let me.
Okay.
Let me see something. I'm trying to find the runtime for
episode 8.
8, and I can't find it nowhere. They got to episode 7, but then it doesn't say episode 8. Let's check something else. My favorite thing, honestly, I have
least favorite first. Least favorite, then
least favorite thing.
Yeah.
My least favorite thing about this, I don't know. I didn't like the C-3PO scene.
I agree.
I mean, it made sense.
Yeah.
You know, I know why it was there. It just, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I was just like, what? I think that they could have done something better than that.
The whole New Republic it's been really cheesy and just cringy for me. So yeah, just don't like the New Republic, both in terms of like how they're written and also like, because they're oversimplified. Like in the prequels, whenever we had like the Senate and the politics, it felt like complex, real politics. And in this one, it's like it's really dumbed down, and it's not like complex, and there's no like political scheming going on. It just felt very like basic. And I know there's like they're trying to hint at political scheming, but it just felt like oversimplified and kind of just cringy.
So, and I'm on StarWars.com, and it has all the other runtimes for everything, every other show, except for the 8th. It doesn't show the 8th show, so
Yeah, I don't think
it
we'll
says
know until it comes
2BC
out.
or
I don't
2BA.
think. Yeah, I don't think we'll know until it comes out. All right,
I could have swore that. I swore that it was out at one time, because didn't we fucking talk about the episodes and how many fucking and what the run time was? Didn't we discuss that before the shit ever even came on? Like when we were giving our predictions or something?
No, I don't remember ever knowing how long it was supposed to be.
I thought we talked about that. I'm tripping.
The
So
least favorite was the Senate scene. What was your favorite?
that's fucking hard. Well, I have multiple favorite parts of this fucking episode. Arousal wise, I have to say the Ahsoka scene where she's talking to Huyang and or however you say his fucking name. I can't ever say his name. Huyang. And when they're in the ship, just because I officially was attracted to live action Ahsoka. But my favorite, honestly, I think my favorite scene was. Fuck, that's hard.
Yeah, I'm stuck between two scenes.
It's either the Baylan Ahsoka fight. That shit was really good. I really enjoyed that. Or the or when Ezra uses the fucking Force to stop the lightsaber.
True. Now you
that
just
was
gave me a third.
That was a dope scene.
I love seeing Ezra fight without a lightsaber. And the reason being because it shows what he's been doing while on this planet alone. He's been trained in the Force, and he's been training and practicing, and I don't know, just he's growing it. I don't know. They're doing such a good job with him. He's a likable character, and he's growing into a powerful Jedi. I'm loving Ezra right now.
But yeah, it got to be in between them two scenes that I really, really, them is the two scenes that just captivated me the most.
I get you.
They really did. I don't know which one to pick. If I had to pick one, I don't know. I think seeing Baylan and Ahsoka fighting and it really looking good compared to the last one, it looked just so well choreographed. They look so much better. Rosario Dawson did a excellent job this time. Like when the way she spins and having her back to him, it was just so much better. I'd have to say that. I'm an action person anyway, so I love to see some action. But that, for some reason, it was just good. It was very well done. Like now, nowhere is it ever close to fucking Anakin Obi-Wan fight.
Nothing will ever come close
compared to all the other lightsaber duels that's been in the show. This one was like, it just worked. It worked so good. It looked so good.
And it wasn't as cringe either.
I love the lightsabers clashing together, man. Yeah. The spark that just fucking brings back fucking New Hope vibes.
You love the spark.
I love the spark.
Man, you love that spark.
I do, because I missed it. Like, you miss something when you've seen it, you know that it's there, and then you don't see it no more. They take it away, and you're like, you don't realize how important something is until they take it away. And then you're like, oh, fuck, that shit kind of looks weird without the fucking sparks. They got to hit some metal or something to get a spark. With two lightsabers, two energy beams in together, ain't no spark. I mean, and they did, I don't know. It just.
For me, I think my favorite Baylan scene, like talking to his apprentice, that was pretty good. That definitely was pretty good. But I think my favorite was that chase scene, which is surprising. But yeah, that chase scene, it just gave me Old West vibes, and it was well done. I liked it.
Nielsen said, least favorite for me was Sabine telling Ezra to take Shin while she stood there with a lightsaber, and Ezra had nothing. and he got pushed into the turtle home well, that was dumb. Yeah, that was kind of that was a pretty bad scene. I mean, it was funny because Ezra just gets shoved. He's like, "What the fuck just happened?" It's been a long time since he got force shoved. The Star Wars team leader said best part was Baylan telling the girl that she needs to go down another path. That was a good bad 3PO. Yeah, that I don't know. The 3PO scene just didn't. I just think I'm in agreement with you on that. That I think it would have been better if R2 would have came in with a hologram. That would have been a real throwback. A real Easter egg because it's something that we've seen before. In New Hope, that would have been like a real good thing. Even if they did show her just her back.
Or even like they came in together or something. But
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense why it wasn't R2 because R2's with Luke right now. So
Yeah. I mean, it made sense. I think they could have done it better. Darth Akari says least favorite Sabine using her flamethrower. She should have used 4 episodes ago. And she had it the whole time and just now using it. What the fuck? No, didn't she use it in what was it, 2? When they were fighting it? No, she used the rockets.
Yeah, she used rockets, but I don't think she used the flamethrower.
Most favorite reunion was all 3 of them together. That was a good scene. It was heartfelt because, like I said, Rosario Dawson and the dude playing Aladdin, the dude playing Sabine, or like everybody, all the memes say, we had Jesus and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and now we have Moses and Ezra. But
funny.
he
totally is. He's like leading these people too. Oh my god.
He looks like if he had gray hair, he looks like Moses from the 10 Commandments. You know what I'm saying?
Oh damn!
You gotta get on Instagram more. They've been tearing it up on Instagram and on Instagram and TikTok. They've been tearing it up. But I just that was a very good scene. It was very heartfelt, and it was heartfelt. I really liked the Sabine and Ahsoka having their Force thing because we haven't really seen that since The Empire Strikes Back when Vader and fucking Luke are talking to each other. Think about it. Have we seen any fucking Jedis or any Jedis talking to each other through the Force other than that's another call. That's another Easter egg. Other than Luke
really
and Vader.
But I just kind of
That was a great Easter egg though, because that goes back to Luke and Vader talking to each other.
Yeah.
And Empire Strikes Back.
Well, because it bugged me because one of the things was like, fuck, Obi-Wan had to die to do that shit. And now Ahsoka's just doing it when she's alive.
But Luke and Vader did it. But that is a dad and son bond like plus Force plus, you know what I'm saying? But it is a good Easter egg.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that so much.
I don't know if she has Force abilities. She hasn't shown me anything to show me that she has Force abilities.
Ahsoka's super loud.
I think Ahsoka.
Yeah,
just as powerful in the Force. She just getting more powerful.
Yeah. Did you notice when Sabine says like, "Oh, Ahsoka took me as her Padawan," and Ezra goes like, "Why?"
I don't know. And that's another thing. This episode had a good amount of comedy. It had a good amount of, seriousness.
And it was accurate and fit with the characters.
They had a lot of good things in this episode. Chris says, what is your predictions for the final?
Finale.
Like I said, I think Baylan's going to get left on the planet. I think that's how they take Baylan out.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be I think Thrawn and them will get back to the thing. Ezra and Ahsoka and them is going to get back either by whales or they're going to hitch a ride, like stick to the outside of Thrawn's ship to go back, the Chimera. And
I don't think we'll even see the war starting. I think
I think it's just going to be them showing up, and I think they're going to leave us on a giant ass cliffhanger for season 2.
The end of the episode will then be shooting off into hyperspace.
I think they'll get back to the thing. I just don't think. I think they're going to fly back, and Hera and them's going to be there. I think Mom Mothma is going to say, go check this out for reals, and then they're gonna pop up right where they left. Or it would be even crazier. This could happen. I don't know if it's a prediction of mine, but what if they fucking, you go back and they don't go back, they go right to Coruscant, and you just got the fucking Chimera sitting on Coruscant's front door. That would be fucking crazy. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll go back to the previous point, and Hera and them's going to be there. And then that's where they're going to end it at. I don't know about too many predictions about who's going to be in it, because they've been like, we kind of knew Anakin was going to be in it, but they kind of hit us kind of cool with C-3PO, because that's not somebody you thought was going to be in it. I thought we would see Zeb or, somebody else before they brought in C-3PO, but we seen C-3PO, so that was kind of, I don't know if Mando or Boba Fett or, Luke, or who's going to show up in the last one, but I have a feeling that we're definitely going to see, like, I think he's going to get there, and then that's going to be, like, that's what they'll end it, like, right at a standoff or something like that, in that general, to lead us into, that way we're anticipating season 2 a lot, because that was definitely,
it's definitely going to end on, like, a huge cliffhanger.
I don't think, I literally thought that at the beginning. I'm like, okay, Ray Stevenson is dead, so they're gonna kill him off. I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't know why I have this gut feeling that they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna like kill him off because he passed away in real life. I think that they're gonna let him go out. They're just gonna end it with leaving him on the planet, because there's no real, like, after Ahsoka ran to go over to Ezra and them, Baylan didn't even chase her. He just kind of stood there. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see him in the rest of the episode. So my thing is, he either got another dog or whatever them things is, and he rolled off, and they're going to maybe show a little bit in it. I just don't think Dave's going to kill him off. Not even that I've heard too much about like him and Dave being real close friends or nothing. I just think Dave is more respectful than that. Dave is going to send him off in like a good fashion, and I think they're just going to leave him there. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's going to leave, and he's going to stay there searching for this power. And then they can bring him back in the animated series or, in any other thing. He got back, maybe he communes with the whales too. We don't know. We don't know enough about him to I know they can't bring him back in live action unless they get a different actor to play him. I mean, and with computers and CGI, they can do that. But I don't think that they will. I think if they do bring him back, it'll be an animation. Yeah.
I think Chris makes an interesting point, especially because especially since we know how much Disney loves female characters. He's like, I think Ahsoka might kill Baylan. I feel like Shin sees him as a father figure and is already leaning dark side. And I think that would push her all the way, and it would set her up as a main villain, especially since we know how much Disney loves female lead characters.
I mean,
true,
that's impossible.
Disney does love their female characters, but I think that's just funny how much Baylan, how awesome of a character he is when Disney usually loves their female characters.
Well,
Baylan's awesome.
I don't think that they'll. I don't think. I don't know. I just have a feeling that, what I'm saying, that they write him off as just leaving him there. Because then it's not like you're not shitting on him as a person or as an actor.
He's Snoke. That's what it is. He's Snoke.
You know what I'm saying? I don't see that. I don't know. I just don't see Dave doing that. Dave, I don't know. Dave might. But until we see it, I can't. Like, I have a feeling they're just going to leave him there. Because then they could bring him back in an animated series if they wanted. They could bring back the character. And I think a lot of people that I've seen, they're like, he's not very intimidating or anything. A lot of the Reddits and stuff that I read, they're like, he's not very intimidating. He's just interesting. And I think there hasn't been a whole lot of negativity about him. Because there's nothing really bad to say about him. There's nothing really good to say about him. He's just intriguing. He's just very interesting. Like, everybody wants to know more about him. So they could leave that open. You know what I'm saying? For some type of for something else. For bring him back in animation or bring him.
I can see that. I could definitely see that.
And then, it just, they dedicated this whole thing to him. I just don't see him killing them off, which we don't know. Did he pass away like before they were done shooting, after they were done shooting? 'Cause that makes a big difference, because if they already shot him getting killed, then he's probably going to get killed. But I don't know. I just have a weird feeling that they're just going to leave him there. And I have a feeling that Disney is pushing for, I don't know. I have a feeling that Disney is pushing for less Force-sensitive characters. And I feel like this ever since Disney took over, just less Force-sensitive characters. And I could see him being the bad guy, or even like somebody that's trying to, it could be in the Rey movie, or, I don't think they'll put him in live action just because, the actor's not there no more. But doing something around in that time frame, like after everything's gone, he figures out a way to get back, and then he's on this path to, he could just be the new bad guy. And the Jedi look at him as bad, Rey or whoever the Jedi is of this time, look at him as the bad guy because what he's trying to accomplish. Of course, they're going to look at him like he's the bad guy. Right. And I think it could really play a good part. But I don't know. That's way futuristic. I just don't think they're going to kill him in the next part. It's so hard to tell because I've been wrong so much on this series. Usually I'm pretty good about guessing what's going to happen next, but I've been wrong a lot on this series.
Well, the thing is, like, him, for some reason, that does seem like a valid thing that they might do, is leaving him on the planet. I don't know why, because you can have him finding whatever that power is and then cut it off there. That could be like another one of the cliffhangers, and him being left on the planet, but he's found some kind of mysterious power. You know what I mean?
Well, he says he can sense it. And the funny thing is, we haven't heard Ezra say anything about it, which, it's still kind of new. Ezra's only been in like 5 seconds of the last episode and in the episode today. And we didn't hear Ahsoka say anything, which she just showed up. So it's but we didn't, like, when he was talking to Shin didn't seem like she sensed it, like he's sensing it. So that makes it even more intriguing. What is it? It really, like, I want to know what it is. I don't know. They could go a lot of different directions with it. Right. But my total prediction of the 8th thing is they'll come into New Republic space and it's going to be ended right there. That way, if they even did do season 2, and they went directly into the movie, which I don't see that happening. I think there has to be a season 2. But if they went directly into the movie, they could really play right off of there and move. But then this is going to be a whole lot more that they have to put into the movie, and I think that's just too much time to cover in a 2-3 hour movie. That movie's going to move very, very fast if they got to add all the stuff that leads all the way up to. Because, you got to lead up. It's like freaking, what I'm saying? It's some time between there. 10 years? Between now and the starting of the First Order. So, maybe less than that. But it's just, I hope that they do come out with a season 2, and that's what causes me to say that it's going to end with him just coming into the New Republic. That way they can start a season 2, or they could go right into the movie if they had to. And I think that would be the most smart thing for them to do in order to, because you never know. You never know, because Disney be like, oh, that shit didn't do as well as we thought it was going to do. We're not going to do a season 2. They did that with Book of Boba Fett and the Kenobi series, which I don't think the Kenobi series was ever meant to go past there. But they left us on a cliffhanger where it could go either way. They could not do it, or they could do it, because finally Obi-Wan sees thing. We don't know anything about Reva. We don't know anything about, does Vader keep searching for him? They kind of answered all the questions on that last episode to to put us in a position where anything is possible. But if they didn't ever come out with it, it wouldn't hurt the storyline. And I think they did the same thing with the Book of Boba Fett. They ended it at a point where, you know, like we all want to know what happened after that. But at the same time, with it ending right there, they could never come out with a season 2 and it would still be okay. And I think that's the way they'll end Ahsoka. I don't think that they are investing too much money into anything. Andor was written and casted and everything and greenlit for 2 episodes. So we knew Andor was coming out with another episode. Even if when you look on like Star Wars database, Wikipedia and all that, it says it doesn't say season 1. It says miniseries. And I think they do that intentionally so they can end it at a certain point. And that's where that would be the best place to end it, in my opinion. If I was the writer and director, that's where I would end it at. But hey, fuck, I've been wrong a lot this season, so I don't fucking have no idea. What do you think? What do you think? How do you think it's going to end?
No, I agree. I think it's definitely going to end on a cliffhanger. I for some reason I agree that Balin's going to be alive, at least originally. Now, they might have gone back when he died and actually killed the character off. I don't know, but to me, I think it would just. I like the idea of him being alive at the end, and being like gone and stuck on the planet, but some kind of cliffhanger with him. And I also think it's going to end either with them like taking off in the light space or light speed or hyperspeed. Fuck, what the fuck is wrong with me? But you know what I mean? Like them getting back, but I don't think it'll go much farther than that. I definitely think they're going to wait for a big cliffhanger and cut it off there. You know what I mean? Just to kind of, because they're trying to stretch it as long as possible. And I definitely think that's what's going on. But yeah, overall, I think this was definitely a better episode. What do you rate it real quick?
It's not as good as 5 to me, but it's still a great episode. I'm giving it an 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
Nice. See, and for me, I think I'm going to rate it the same as 5. Not because, like, its highs, its goods weren't as good as 5s, but its bads weren't as bad as 5s, in my opinion. So I think I'm going to give it. You might want to
shut down any pages you open because you're, like, cutting out.
Oh, sorry. But I'm going to rate it 7.5. Its goods weren't as good as 5, but the low points, it didn't have as many flaws to me, and it wasn't as cheesy, and it wasn't as cringe as some of the other episodes. So 7.5.
Star Wars team leader said 6. God damn. I thought it was better than that. To me, it's my second favorite episode. And like I said, I just don't know why I like 5 so much. Maybe I think it's the Clone Wars shit and the Darth Vader thing. I don't know. Them just really fucking gave me true Star Wars vibes. Like, I really feel I was immersed in the story at that point. Like, really was. And then this one just was, I don't know, it just didn't give me that same feeling. Yeah, that's true. Chris says, totally just theorizing, but if you look at most of Ray Stevens' other projects, he does die, doesn't come back in most of them. If it's anything like Sean Bean could be his fate. I don't think it had anything to do with him. I think it's going to be Dave. Dave was just a fucking nice guy. And he's like, oh, man, he died. I'm not going to kill him in the fucking thing. Let's do something different. And I mean, and a good editor can fucking piece some shit together. I don't know. I just have a weird feeling.
Kyle, something is crazy. Something is crazy when I'm rating higher than the chat. What the fuck?
I mean, it was like, and like I said before, that's the cool thing about Star Wars.
See,
like,
y'all can't
everybody-
prove I'm too nitpicky when I'm rating higher than you. Y'all can't say I'm nitpicky when I literally rated it higher than you did.
I mean, it had its issues, but like a lot of the issues that it had was just overlooked issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it didn't bother me. Like C-3PO, it wasn't my favorite scene, but it made sense. It fit the storyline. You know what I'm saying? I think they could have done it better.
Yeah, shit.
So I can't really nitpick it because
enough scene where you could look past it.
then the fucking Mon Mothma shit. Like, how is this bitch the same fucking age? Man, like Bacta's the shit. And that's kind of how I look. I said, why is this bitch the same fucking age? And I thought about a whole bunch of different shit. And then I was like, well, they got Bacta. And Bacta is like some dope shit, man. That shit heals wounds and all kind of fucked up shit. You know what I'm saying? You could damn near be dead and fucking they put your ass in some Bacta and you come back to life. You look perfectly fine. You know, so I could look past that. And then, you know, the dog thing. I mean, I complained about the dog thing last week. I'm not going to complain about it again. It just doesn't look good. Everybody knows how I feel about that. But it just, none of them things really fucked with the story and the good parts. You know, they really didn't. I really enjoyed this episode. Which I've enjoyed all the episodes. I've liked all the episodes. I just think some of them were better than other ones. You know, and that's the biggest thing. Just don't make every episode exactly the same and then try to make something real big at the fucking end. I can't stand that shit. I hate that shit. Like, you try to rush everything great in, like they did with Boba Fett. Boba Fett was pretty much, other than the Mando episodes, they were all fucking boring, and then they try to rush everything into the last fucking thing. You gotta ride in fucking Rancors, fighting with fucking, you know what I'm saying, like a billion people fighting, so much shit going on, you can't even pay attention to a character, and then it's over. And I mean, and I love a good action fucking scene, but it just, like the rest of the story didn't add up to the action scene. So, and the best two episodes was the Mando episodes, and you know, that to me was, I didn't want to see that, and he didn't do that on Ahsoka. We still have a good fluent story, and I think all the actors are getting better as each episode, you know, goes on. They're getting better. The characters are coming alive. And I really like the story that Dave has portrayed with Ahsoka. I really like this fucking series. And like I said before, I might be a little bit biased just because Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters, but it just it wasn't lacking the things that made me dislike some of the other series that Disney has put out. It feels like Star Wars. It doesn't feel like I'm watching something else other than Star Wars. And Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi, like Kenobi, I didn't feel like I was watching Star Wars. To me, none of that shit made sense. They did shit that was just fucking outlandish, weird ass shit that was uncalled for, unneeded. They could have did a way better story on both of those, especially because they didn't fit the characters. And that's the biggest thing. And this Ahsoka, one of the good things that they did, we haven't been overpowered by any one character, not even Ahsoka, and it's about Ahsoka. The secondary characters are not overpowering Ahsoka. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the things that Disney has done such a bad job at. And it's really not like that. Everybody has like their equal amount of screen time, and it makes sense to the story, and it's not like one person is just overshadowing this other person. But I still feel like the show is about Ahsoka. You know, even though we have Balin, even though we have Thrawn, even though we have Sabine and Ezra and all these other characters, we know that it's about Ahsoka, and it still feels like it's Ahsoka. It feels like the story's about Ahsoka. Even the last episode, which barely had Ahsoka in it, she was in it for fucking 13 seconds in the very beginning of last episode. It still felt like the story was based around Ahsoka, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think that's it. Wasn't nothing really on news, not like nothing really major. Big ass announcement. Star Wars has removed jizz from the Mos Eisley Cantina ban. It's no longer called the Jizz Band. They took Jizz out. They're calling it a Jaw Band now. Like Jye, J Jaw, whatever, however you say that shit. They literally removed Jizz from Star Wars. And I think that that's just a fucking crisis. Like, quit fucking with shit, Disney. That's some big news. And then I don't get this because, I mean, it says Marvel celebrates Star Wars Rebels 10th anniversary with new variant covers. So they got like a whole bunch of new covers to the Marvel magazines. They got like the Rebel covers. One got like the Grand Inquisitor, Ahsoka, Zeb, you know, Ezra riding Chopper, Hera, Sabine, you know, Thrawn. But like, I'm trying to think, like, and I didn't look it up, so I might be wrong, but fuck, isn't Rebels older than 10 years old? You know, like, I'm like, that the timeline, I'm 2014, right? Or the 2014, so I guess it is 10 years. I don't know. But, you know, 2013, yeah, because it had to be, Disney bought Star Wars in 2012. We know George helped Dave write Rebels, but I don't know if he was doing it, you know, under the table. I know it's a Disney project.
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't look it up. I'm like, fuck, man, I feel like Rebels was older than that, but I guess that the timeline is right. I mean, and they got Agent Callus, so they got a lot of different new comic book covers coming out, special editions. And the only other thing, I know everybody probably knows this. Did you guys know that only reason E.T. was in Star Wars is because Steven Spielberg and George Lucas was like how good of friends they was, so he put E.T. in there. I knew E.T. was in there
for a while,
but I didn't like. I knew that they had E.T. in Star Wars, and, you know, I kind of figured that, but I guess it was fucking announced. Like, okay, somebody announced that shit. Who was it? Steven? George? Oh, man, I seen some pictures of George or a video of George the other day. George ain't looking too good.
Really?
I know George is old as shit, but man, he ain't looking too good. And somebody else made a comment on Twitter about C-3PO walking the way that he does, and
see,
the way he was
told
looking.
you, it's off.
And
it's off.
I know Chris or the Star Wars team leader said that he was walking funny. But you guys got to remember, Anthony Daniels is a billion. That dude is old as hell. He was like 50 when they made Star Wars in 1977. Dude is old. You know what I'm saying? He's like a million. So he's not going to be walking and looking as good as he did fucking years ago. You know what I'm saying? He's fucking old. And I think that's all the new stuff that I had. There wasn't really nothing that. A lot of the stuff is about Star Wars, you know, the cryptics of the Easter eggs of Ahsoka. Other than that, there wasn't a lot to say. Now.
Yeah, no, that was pretty much it.
There was one thing that I wanted to bring up. There was one thing that I wanted to bring up right quick, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. Okay. Dave has said multiple times about Mara Jade. He's made several references to Mara Jade. Now, if they bring Mara Jade into Star Wars canon, do you think that they will bring her in as another character, like, or do you think that they will bring her in at, like, not as another character, but as Mara Jade, but, you know what I'm saying, like, bring her in, or do you think it's a character that we have already seen within Star Wars since all the new Star Wars show?
Wait, say one more time?
Okay. Davis has made comments plenty of times about
Mara.
about Mara Jade. Do you think if they brings her in to the Star Wars galaxy, do you think that he brings her in as one of the like characters that we have seen in like Mandalorian or something like she's been in hideout? Because when they met in the books, she was the Emperor's hand. The Emperor was still alive then. Like the Luke hadn't killed her yet. It was like in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So do they bring her in now because we're past that point? Does Dave try to bring her in? Because Dave and John has both said something. But do you think they try to bring her in as like she's been hiding out? Like with the Mandalorians or something like that? Or
That's a good question.
Or did they bring her in like as just like a brand new fucking character? She'll still be Mara Jade, but like start her off fresh as like she's...
I think they'll probably start off fresh to make it a Disney character. She'll just rock up in the middle of nowhere. Kind of, yeah.
And the reason I asked is because it was a Reddit question that had me sitting here thinking for like an hour. I was just thinking like, man, how could they do that?
Good old Reddit, bro. Reddit will do that to you.
I was like, how the fuck, how could they do that? That would be awesome. And they keep bringing her up, and she's being there was 4 articles today in Star Wars news about fucking Mara Jade. So it's real funny that they keep bringing her up. You know what I'm saying? They've been bringing her up a lot lately. There's been several fucking interviews where David or John has made a reference to Mara Jade. They've been talking about how much fucking George Lucas hates Mara Jade and all this different shit. You just putting the shit out there too damn much. It makes me starting to believe that you guys are going to bring Mara Jade in. So, you know, and that's kind of what the fucking Reddit post was about. You know what I'm saying? How she's been popping up a lot. She's been in more comics. She's, you know what I'm saying, a lot more in fucking Star Wars. We keep seeing Mara Jade. Do you think she's going to bring her in? And if they do bring her in, how would they bring her in? Like, how would you... And I don't know. I'm curious. I want to know what everybody else thinks. Like, how... If it was up to them and they could bring Mara Jade in now, how would they do it?
I think they're going to make it fresh. I think
they would bring in like a character that would be somebody, you know, like she's been hiding among, like in plain sight.
You think so?
You know what I'm saying? Like she's been there. We've seen her and we just never knew it was her. I don't know. That's how I would do it.
I see that.
No, Mara Jade, the first time that Mara Jade and Luke meet. Well, no, because that's here to the Empire is it's kind of hard because there's another book where they meet. Because here to the Empire, because the Emperor is still alive because she has to report back to the Emperor when they first meet. Because remember, she's trying to kill Luke on that fucking planet. The Empire is still in charge. And she's trying to kill him when they first fucking meet. Is that here to the Empire? I might be fucking tripping.
Bro, I have no idea.
It's been a long time since I listened to the book. I think you're right, Nelson. Fuck, I don't know. I have to go back in. Fuck, I'm gonna have to look that shit up now. My fucking brain is fucking like. All right. Anyway, we've been on this motherfucker for an hour and 40 minutes. So. We're going to get off of here. We will see you guys on Saturday. Oh, wait. Elijah McCormick was in the chat. I'm sorry, Elijah. I didn't see your chat earlier. He says, this show is making me really intrigued on how Dave will connect all of these live action shows to episode 7 with his movie. Yeah. That's, fuck, I don't know how he's going to do it.
So you ranked it an 8, right? 8.
Yeah, I ranked it at 8.
7.5 and 8. So that means our average score for this episode was 7.75.
Well, what was my fucking ranking for 5? I gave it 8.5, right?
Yeah, you gave it 8.5.
Yeah. Star Wars team, she tells Luke she was there as he hands in Jabba's palace to watch for him. Fuck, I can't. You might be right. I can't fucking remember. I could have swore there was another book, like The Courtship. It's called like The Courtship by Marjay. And they explain how they met. I can't remember now. I have to go back and look. But we'll see you guys Saturday. And we're going to be talking about George Lucas's. We actually know what we're going to be talking about. Usually we come up on Friday night. What are we going to talk about tomorrow? I don't know.
I got some ideas.
But actually this weekend we're going to be talking about George's scripts for the trilogy, or George's thoughts for the trilogy. And I've been doing a little bit of research on it. I've been reading this script, man. Fucking George's shit would have been way better. But we're going to talk about that on Saturday, so we will see you guys then. May the Force be with you. Stay outrageous. And we will see you on Saturday.
Thank you for tuning in to LSR. If you've enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. Lightsaber Radio is produced by Pickfilm Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Garrison Turcotte, CJ Elliott, and Kyle McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.